Hello, this is Mish from Downtime Distractions with the first look review of Ghost 1.0. Now we define our first look reviews in a different category than a full review by a few caveats. Until all three have been completed, we class it as a first look review. They are: the gameplay time put into the title is under 8 hours, the game has not been completed, finished or beaten, and we still have room to gain more knowledge and skill across single or multiple facets of the title. But in saying all that, we still have enough knowledge to give you an idea if you like this title and express our opinions on it, and also hopefully advise you if it's worth the purchase or not. So what is this game? Ghost 1.0 is a Metrovania-like 2D RPG platformer set on a space station in a futuristic world. So it's developed and published by @unepic_Fran, which is a very strange name for a developer publisher. So previous title from this developer publisher is Unepic. It received a massively overwhelming response on the Steam community. So if you haven't checked it out, I advise go along, at least have a look at the Steam page. It's a pretty cool game. So this title has come out on the 7th of June. The price at the moment is $10.99 US. After the release promotion is done, it'll go back up and it'll go to $12.99 US. So bear that in mind. This has full controller support, but I myself used the keyboard and mouse as I felt that was best to experience this game in that format. So the story, the real driver behind this game, so you're playing as Ghost, who's been hired by two hackers to infiltrate the Nakamura Space Station to steal the electronic secret. But as you spend more time battling the space station defenses, you start finding more about the mysterious agent Ghost. So the gameplay mechanics, on the face of it, it looks very simple. You've got weapons to use, you can also unlock skills as you progress with the skill tree, you can also purchase consumables, you can purchase new weapons and weapon upgrades. Whilst that in itself is a plethora of fun and variation with the game, let me show you the real best feature, which I think is very cool. Okay, so here we go. I want to show you that really interesting game mechanic, but let me just show you the basics so you know what's going on. So this is obviously the main screen. What we have, top left here is your health, the in-game currency, which is power cubes. This is the keys, which I guess you work on as you go through the level, so you need to finish the key before you can move on to the next zone. This number here, it's interesting, every now and again you get an event, which you can trigger the event, and if I was to trigger an event in this area, it would be a level 4 event. If I was to beat that event, it would move up to level 5. So there's always, I guess, a increasing difficulty, which is very nice. You get a good reward from this as well. You get a lot of power cubes from these events. So bottom left we have a map, inventory, and a skill tree. You get the basic movements. Obviously left, right, up and down, jump and a roll, and basic attacks as well. So my basic attack is the particle gun, which you can see is firing. This is it here. So I left click and it fires a particle gun. It doesn't have ammo, but it has, I guess, a reload time that you can burn it down, and the fire speed will pretty much drop to nothing. So you got to be mindful of that. You can't just spam it. You do need to be mindful of that. These other things here. So these are my secondaries. So I have a shotgun, and I have a mine gun, and I also have cybernetic frog launcher, because we need cybernetic frogs in the future. So there he is, off he goes. This is consumables, which you purchase with the in-game currency. So you can either pick those up or go to the store and get that. And also the same for the weapons. You can go to the store and pick up some new weapons and also power-ups. But let me just show you. I'll take on this guy over here. Let's start saying I don't do very well, and I'm starting to be beaten here. So what I'll do is, okay, I'm being beaten. So what I'll do is I'll retreat, go back up here to my frog, and the best component about this game, I find it very refreshing and very cool. So if I hit R, I can leave my shell and take control of somebody else. So there we go, and now I'm in control of this big guy, and he can do some major damage, and I can run around, I can jump, I can even go to another area, I can put my shield on. So you get different abilities for different robots, and it just adds so much to the game, so much with, oh, he died. But that's alright, it kind of proved the point, right? So you can float around, pick up any robot that you want, not these ones, because then I think they're more organic, those ones, and back to my body. So that's awesome. There's a little health over here, which is good. So it really adds such an awesome component with puzzling, and also if you get bored of playing this character, you want to play another character for a couple minutes, you can jump into a robot, see what weapons they've got. If a robot's got a really cool weapon you want to use, just use that robot for a while. And you see conversations between the robots as well, which is quite comedic. And it's saying about, I hope I don't get taken over by the ghost and stuff like that. It's quite funny. It's quite good. But yeah, so that was the main component I want to show you. Very impressive. I really like it. Really cool idea. And you can obviously, you power this up as well so you can move around quicker. And you can also do other things where you can, I think, you control more than one robot. So it's going to get interesting the more you go into the levels here. We've got 2 game modes. So we have Classic and Survival. Each of those has the option for easy, medium and hard. So if something's too easy, obviously you crank up the difficulty there. So with Classic, it's more of you advance through the game and you get more stuff and the enemies become harder as it goes on. Survival is you get as much stuff as you want faster, but you'll be really powerful really quickly, but you'll lose everything when you die. Whereas Classic has that ability to save here and there. So let's move on to the options menu and have a quick look through there. So here we have video. We have full screen and windowed mode, and do not use dynamic light if you have a lower spec PC, which is good. Obviously there's a lot missing in here. I mentioned this to the developer, and currently it has an auto scaling resolution system. So it knows default resolution up to 1080p. If you've got something bigger than that, you may struggle at the moment, but it's very good. It worked well for me, and I mean 1080 is generally the standard. And I did mention this to the dev that there was a bit of a concern, and they mentioned they are looking at trying to patch in maybe a manual process or increasing that past 1080p so the bigger monitors automatically scale as well. I also mentioned multi-monitor support, so you can have change between one monitor and another, choose which one you want to use, and they're trying to patch that in as well. So it's good that they're listening to feedback from us. So if you are struggling with something here, put it in the Steam forum and hopefully they'll take a look, and obviously the more people complain about it, the more chance they'll actually look into it. So in sound is pretty impressive. We have mute and subtitles, which is good, and we have 4 sliders for different things. So general volume, FX volume, music, and voice volume. So if you don't like the soundtrack, you can turn them off. Well, you can just probably mute the whole thing if you want to. But yeah, turn down the sound, or it's good options as well. Languages, got a couple here, which is good for people that don't necessarily have English as their primary language. And controllers, all the keyboard and controller is rebindable, which is very nice. And you can calibrate the controller as well. A couple other little things down here as well. But pretty good options menu. As I said, a bit concerned around the lack of above 1080p, but hopefully they'll either add a manual process in here where you can choose more, and also add that multi-monitor support. I think we've covered all topics there. So this is the part where I do a summary on graphics, audio, and gameplay. So I'll start graphically. The composition of the artistic style is very charming. The effects look good. I like the design of the characters. The overall world looks very cool. But I'm really wanting to see that patch just to increase the options regards the graphic limitations. Just a bit concerning when you're stuck at the resolution 1080p as the maximum. The automatic scaling worked very well for me, and I'm sure it'll work well for most people, but just something to be mindful of. But they did say they're working on that to add that option, and also for the multi-monitor support. So good to see when that comes into play. But in saying that, great artistic style with this game. Looks really good. Very impressive. So let's move on to audio. It's got a fantastic dialogue, very well voice acted. Normally I chuckle at comedic parts in games, but this one I was literally laughing out loud. I found the dry humour very good. But of course, that is my opinion. Everyone has a subjective opinion on comedy. It was very dry, and I have affinity to that dry sense of humour, so it might not be for everybody, but for me it was very good. Audio across the board as well, the sound assets are all pretty good. It's got a good soundtrack, good sound effects as well, which is very good. Gameplay mechanics, basic gameplay is very good, very true to the genre. It works very well, it's very solid. I like the talent tree, it's got some interesting stuff there. It's not all just passive abilities, there's very active ones and interesting things. Also, I really like the weapons that Ghost has access to, and as I said it before, I really like that ability to leave your shell and inhabit other shells. It adds so much diversity to the gameplay with choosing different shells, so you can just play a different robot for a while, and all the puzzling additions to that. It's great in-depth gameplay. Just another little thing here as well, I didn't really show you in the gameplay, but there are secrets and hidden objects here and there, hidden things that you kind of blow the wall apart and there's something inside. So the completionist will like that. There's a lot of stuff in there as well. If you choose a certain skill, you can actually see on the map all those, and there's a massive amount. It's pretty cool. Okay, so regards content, which is really the final topic here. So I've sunk 5 hours into this game, and in my save game it says I've done 36% of the game. So already I can see this is easily 20-25 hours plus of content just for this one game mode. Bear in mind we have 2 game modes that we can play. So you got the classic mode and the survival. So I'm partially through zone 2, and there are 6 zones. So there's a lot of content here, a real plethora. And you add on the skill tree, you add on all the unlocks and all the secrets. So there's a lot of stuff here, especially for the completionist. If you want to go through all that stuff, you're going to get a lot of time in this game. It's not the be all and end all, I guess, price versus content, but it is something which is important to people. So, you know, I'm saying 30 hours for $10.99 is pretty good value, if that concerns you. So I hope this video has been of value for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope I've given you a good idea to purchase or not. For me, if you're into the genre, it's a bit of a no-brainer, especially at the special at the moment. You save there a couple of dollars, and it's a unique, interesting new game, so it's pretty good. So this has been Mesh from Downtime Distraction, and I've been having a first look review of Ghost 1.0. Please leave some comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe as it really helps us out. And I'll see you next time.